All right, picking up from where we left off, we got our dimensions in here, or at least we think we got our dimensions in here. We'll review these. Now we need to fine-tune them, maybe move them around. We need to add tolerances and the surface finish symbol, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, let's have a look at our ANSI layout. Okay, so everything looks good here. Maybe I'll unlock this and just kind of move this a little bit over there, and then go back and lock it. That's all good. And we go back to our model space. All right. So first things first, let's take care of the tolerance up here. Now, if you read your notes, then this bore diameter on the cylinder is a 625 RC4 fit, RC4. So it's a clearance fit with the piston. Okay, kind of a somewhat tight clearance fit, but still good clearance fit. So let's bring up our tolerance sheet. Okay, so this is our standard table for tolerances. These are RC4. This last column over here is RC4. We can find the row where 625.625 is located right there. And then we read across and we find these numbers right here. Now, since we're only dealing with the hole, right, in this, the only thing we're working with in this drawing is the hole. So these are the numbers that we have to deal with, okay? So these numbers are going to be added to the basic size, and the basic size is 625 because this is a basic hole system. So we're going to take 625 and we're going to add 0 to it. I think everybody can do that. And we're going to take 625 and we're going to add not 1, but 0.0010. Okay? So that means that this is going to be 626 and 625. All right? Now we do need 4 decimal places on these. These tolerances right here require 4 decimal places. All the other tolerances, according to my spec sheet that I gave you guys, is 3 decimal places. So this is all good for the rest of everything. Angles can be 0 decimal places. Okay, so let's go ahead and edit this. So I'm going to click on that once, and I'm going to right click and go to properties. And then we're going to go over to tolerances right here, and we're going to change this to let's choose, limit dimensions. That's the easiest thing, right? We have, this is not one of the clearance hole that we have to do as a unilateral dimension. Okay, that's none of these on this drawing are. All right, so, and we want to do the lower limit is 0. The upper limit is going to be 0.0010, right? And it's added to it. Now you'll notice though that it's only 3 decimal places, and that's right here under tolerance precision. So I'm going to bump that up to 4 decimal places, and then that's correct. I can close that little dialog box right there, and now I have that complete. Okay, what else do I need to do on this? I think maybe I should take a second just to make sure that I got all these dimensions in there in the proper location. I think what I'll do here is I'm going to move this a little bit down right there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 90 to the upper side. I think it'll give me a little bit more room right there. So I'll put that right there. All right. And you know what? I think I'll even put the 140 up there too. Because I got room over here. And as much as possible, we should try to not crowd things. So I'll put a parentheses back there. Again, remember the 140 here that I'm dimensioning, that could be left out also. As a reference dimension, we don't technically need that in there. I'm going to bump this up and move this up a smidge so it's not over the arrow. And there we go. Now down here, I'll just move this over here. I'll move this down like so. And then we'll move this right there. And now doesn't that look better? All right. Now, last thing that we got to do here is we got to add the surface finish mark. Now, unfortunately, in AutoCAD, we have to actually draw those surface finish marks. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now, from your book, I'll tell you what page it is in your book. It's chapter 8, and it is on page 210. Okay, so I'll show you how I draw it right here. We're going to draw it on the dimension layer because it is a dimension feature. So I'll draw it right there, right? And then I'm going to offset that line, and I'm going to offset it 1.5 times the text height. The text height is 0.125, so I'll show you how we do that. So it's going to be 1.5 times 0.125, which is 0.1875, right? So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to offset 0.1875. I'm going to offset it once and twice. Now, well, let me finish this and I'll tell you something important. All right, I'm going to set my polar tracking to 30 degrees here, 30-60, so I can draw from here down at 30 degrees. And then back up here at like this, and then I can trim that out and erase that. Now, this may look big to you, right? Wow, that's a big surface finish symbol. That's going to go on here. Not in this size. We have to remember, look, I scaled this 2:1. That means I need to scale this down by the reciprocal of that. So 1/2. So I'm going to use the scale command before I put text in, because text is not going to be affected by this. Before I put the text in, I'm going to scale this down 0.5, right? Now that's the correct size, all right? Now let me put the text in. So we'll go to text and just do a single line text. And this is what I like to do. I like to put the text in here. 0.125 is the text height. Rotation angle is 0. We'll put a 2 right there. Enter, enter. I like to put it in there and then move it. I don't know why. I just find it a little bit easier to eyeball it this way rather than to get it right away. I think that looks good. All right, and we're good to go. Now, where does that go? Well, the dimensions or my spec sheet, it said that the front surface right here, the front surface is going to have a surface finish of 4 microinches, and the back surface, and the bore is going to have a surface finish of 2 microinches. So let's do this one right now. Now, where are we going to put the surface finish symbol? Well, we're going to put it right on the landing. Right, and I talked about this before we left for our break and before this whole thing, but there's a little trick for getting this landing to extend. Okay, so watch this. We're going to click on that once, right click, go to properties, and let's minimize this and go to text, and then you see text offset. This number, text offset 0.09, is that gap right there between the end of the landing and the beginning of the text. That's 0.09. So now watch. I'm gonna double this. Let's make it 0.3, right? Or triple it. Sorry. We'll go to 0.3. Right? So we just increased that gap. I'm gonna go back to what it was and watch what happens. It extends that. All right, now I'm going to do it one more time, 0.4, give it a little bit more, because I think I need a little bit more room in there. Yep, that's good. So that's just a little trick, and I'm going to move this from here to, and we'll just go right there. All right, perfect. All right, so that looks all good. Now we got to get it on this surface, and we got to change that to 4 microinch. So we're going to use a leader to do that. I'll go to annotate, and I'll go to leader, And we're going to do it just like this. We're going to point to a surface, a point right there on that line, and we're going to drag it out, and then we don't want any text, so I'm just going to hit escape. All right. Now, is this long enough? Yeah, I think it is. So let's copy this. If not, we can extend that. We'll copy it from here to, now I'm going to put it on the end here and then slide it back because I'm not picking up, well, maybe I am. Let me go right there. Yep. Okay, there we go. It did it. And then this is going to change the 4. And we're all good. And I think that is it. All right. So that looks pretty good. Now, we're not done yet. Let's turn our attention to the layout. Okay, so there's our layout. Everything looks peachy. Let's double click outside and go to our paper space, right? So we're not inside. We're outside and going, and let's add our notes. Okay. Now, I pulled up our departmental standards so that you can see this is page 24 where we have our notes, and then of course on page 25 are all the sample notes that you can choose from. All right, so let's follow this format. Now I like to put my notes in using single line text. If you use multi-line text, you just have to be a little bit more careful that things space out more. But I'll use single line text for this, and I'll go right here, 0.125, 0. So we'll say notes, whoops, all caps, notes, parenthesis, colon, unless otherwise specified, 1, drawing in I don't think you need to hear me read all these while I'm typing. All right, so now let's get to the other notes here, and I'll show you these again. There's no fillets and rounds, so we don't need that. Remove all burrs and sharp edges. That's a good note. Finish all over, we don't need that. Chamfer both ends, we don't need that. Untolerance dimensions, we will need that. There are threads, so we need the inch thread. There is a surface texture symbol, so we need that. And that's it. Okay, so let's get these in there. Sorry, let's get these. Remember, plus or minus is %%P, and 0.003 was given in the specifications. This is the thread standard for inch threads. All right, and then we have the surface texture standard. Revised 2002. And then the last one, surface texture units in micro-inch. Now, we can't get the little mu symbol with the single line text. In multi-line text, you can get the mu symbol. In single line text, you cannot. So what's the alternative? Well, we spell out micro-inches. Okay. And then that's it. Let's make sure we got all the notes in there. Yep. Enter, enter. Let's pull this a little bit away. It's a little bit close over here, so I'll move this, and we'll just kind of move it a little bit down like that. That looks good. That's it. Okay, so I'll try to put up another one, maybe not dimensioning fully, but at least going through some of the things that you need to be concerned with the standard, um, the part called the standard in the vacuum engine. But this should get you going. If you have any questions, if you feel like I made a mistake, it's possible. I made a mistake on the A over here before, but I think this looks pretty good, and this should get you started on that. Okay. All right. Thanks very much. Hope you are staying healthy. Bye.